Welcome to Casual Quest Masters, a casual Master Quest podcast. In this podcast, we'll follow the adventures of a group of characters who simply want to find their way in the world. But a more sinister plot is revolving around them. How will they fare? Let's find out today on Casual Master Quest. All right, welcome to Casual Quest Masters, everyone, a product of Casual Master Quest. I am your Dungeon Master, Glenn Houston, and I'm so happy to be here with you all. If everyone would like to go around and introduce yourselves just to make sure that our audience knows who's here, and we'll save character introductions for later, but just so everyone knows who's here.
You can go first, Mr. Excited.
Look, he's the host. I want him to pick. You know, he decides how things go. I give him full control. Tyler. All right, me first. Anyways, hi everybody. Tyler Vidito here, and I will be playing Rodger, the Changeling Sorcerer, Divine Soul. Oh, do I? Is this where I hand? No, do I hand the talking stick?
I have a narrative introduction for once we kind of get in. You'll kind of describe your character a little more in depth, but now they know.
I didn't want to describe anymore. I was just wondering who was next.
See, in my head, I saw it as Tyler, then Nick, then me, just because of seniority purposes.
Oh, okay then. Hi, I'm Nick. I'm new around here. Nice to meet you all. I go by LR11 on the interwebs. Yeah, I'm excited.
Who are you going to be playing?
I'm the most excited. I'm going to be playing a Goliath Ranger. His name is Vol Nightwalker Val Nugoni.
Gesundheit.
Right. Freaking dope.
Nick's putting thought into this.
All right.
Yeah. Cool. Nick created his own character name, and I picked a character name off of American Dad.
My turn? I'm Brandon.
No, it's Glenn's turn.
Go for it, Brandon.
I'm Brandon. I'm playing a dwarf. That's why I'm so short here. His name is Magdohr Bandiron. He is a forged cleric of the Bandiron clan, exiled.
Can you give me the sizes?
Huh?
Height, width, bust?
Oh, well, let's do that later. Because
I just wanted to know what the dwarf's bra size was, but I guess that is kind of perverted to me. I'm sorry.
A little bit. But to start off, I want to give everyone a quick description of the city, both for you guys and our audience, so we can kind of get in the mindset of where you're at.
Yes.
I'm going to make a note that I need to pause here.
Imagine a hardcore. It's a city made out of gold.
It's a hard pause. It's something I forgot to ask you guys about earlier. I know that Nick and Tyler, your characters, know each other.
Yes.
And have worked together, kind of doing, caravan protection and stuff like that.
For quite a while, yeah.
No, working together is such a loose term here. But yes, you could say that my character is in cahoots with the Vol.
Is it fair to say that Magdohr may have worked with you as well?
Oh, I was going to say I'm scouring the blacksmiths. I came into town looking for blacksmithing.
Maybe at a point
ores.
closer towards where the campaign might start.
Yeah, like maybe you came to town looking at the blacksmiths, but you needed to find work to get money.
Yeah, I think that would be
been offering
fair
that
because my character and Tyler's character have an extended history.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that Magdohr isn't, completely in the dark as far as that goes. And you guys already know each other really well in real life, so that'll translate well as characters. So, cool, Magdohr?
Sure.
Working with them to make money, to make yourself a better arm?
Doesn't mean I like them.
If Vol and Rodger's history was on the internet, I would be deleting even the cookies at this point. I think it would describe the relationship I have with him.
Awesome. So I'm going to start in here real quick, and this will give you guys a little bit of an idea of what you're, starting here with me, and what that setting looks like. So we're going to be starting our adventure here in the city of Neverwinter, the jewel of the north on the Sword Coast in the continent of Faerun. We begin our journey at the Beached Leviathan, a tavern built from the husk of a large three-masted ship that once sailed the seas on the Sword Coast. Within the ship, our party is sitting enjoying drinks and food of choice among the regular crowd of adventurers, off-duty guards, and everyday townfolk in the Blackwater district. And now for a brief history. So that's our setting. That's where you're at. Imagine sitting inside of like the lower decks are the main hold, is where this kind of tavern opens up because it's completely, this Beached Leviathan is completely up off the ground or up out of the water. It's not in the water at all. It's not like those cool, like, you know, ships
like on a dry dock.
Oh, no. It's just up on the ground and they have like stilts around the edge of it up on a hill. And so, okay, the door is actually built.
And they just built a tavern there.
Yeah, and the former captain is actually the tavern owner. And
wow, way to keep afloat with the business, am I right?
Right, and so he just built a door on the side of it, basically. And so the lower holds where they would have kept all their cargo is now the main bar. And further, like the second floor holds like rooms and such, and then the top floor is kind of an area which where the captain's quarters are. So he lives up there. But like you can actually pay a little more to go like dine under the stars. Basically, it's like the VIP section.
Nice.
So it's like a casual fine dining establishment.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the establishment?
The Beached Leviathan.
The Beached Leviathan. Now, how big would you say the ship is compared to your average galleon?
It's a galleon. It was a galleon. Three-masted, you know, had a nice big aft and forecastle with 2 floors below that. So there would have been your crew quarters and some storage, and then the lower decks would have been where they kept the majority of their storage when they would have been actually
would you say
shipping
this
things.
Ship is seaworthy if it were to go back into the water?
Nah, it's
I guess the giant door on the side would probably.
Yeah, it used to just have stilts around it. Now he's like built a foundation around it. Like it's got a door built on the side. Like, I mean, it would take a lot of work, but it could sail feasibly, maybe with several thousand gold worth of work.
Cool. I was wondering how
I can already see the cogs turning there. All right, let me see. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick, unless you have any other questions.
I was just gonna ask, do we know who the captain is yet, or the
owner?
The bar? Yeah, I'm gonna say the owner of the establishment. If we don't, that's fine because
it does not take more than a quick search on the internet because I have. It is. Oh wow, that's kind of fun. I'm actually gonna send you guys an image.
Cool.
Through this, so you can see. And we can actually, if we want to post that on Twitter or something so they understand kind of what we're going to, that would be really cool. No, I wouldn't worry about it. We'll make it like either way, big ship up off the sea. I'll send it to you guys later. It's owned by the captain. His name is Harag.
Harag, how do you spell that?
Harrag.
2 R's.
So the areas in the tavern, the first floor is the hold. Second floor is the quarters, and the third is the deck.
May I recount what I've heard so far?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say you can tell me no.
Yeah, no.
No inspiration for you.
I just describe what happens. You guys tell me what you want to do. I do want to give you guys a description of Neverwinter and a brief history, so you have an idea of where you live.
You know what? I'm gonna do the part where I tell myself to shut up. That way the narrator can do his job. So I'm gonna do that. Shut up, Tyler. Yes, sir.
You're fine. All right. Neverwinter is called the Jewel of the North for a reason. It's the center of trade and art in the northern portion of the Sword Coast. Artists, merchants, and adventurers flock here for its ripe need of them. The leader of Neverwinter, Lord Daggle Neverember, was recently ousted as the Open Lord of Waterdeep, most prestigious position on this side of Faerun, and is now only Neverwinter to focus his attention on. The town is named as such for its constantly flowing warm river that runs through the center of town, which allows its port to stay open year-round despite cold, frigid waters in winter, allowing its trade to do business with more ease than all of its other coastal sister cities. The water is warmed by geothermal energy coming from an active volcano to the northeast called Mount Hotenau. The city itself is divided into several areas of note. Protector's Enclave at its center, where the merchants and politicians do work and Never Ember and his associates in the Order of the Gauntlet. Some of the more prominent, like, religious groups have nice temples there. The Black Lake District, which is where the docks are, the Beach Leviathan is there. It's kind of the seedier side of town. And then you have the Docks District, which is where most of the docks are. Some of the docks are in the Black Lake District. And then you have Neverdeath Graveyard, which is a giant graveyard where after a thing called the Cataclysm happened. Not the Cataclysm.
Graveyard. It sounds like business would be terrible there.
It wasn't for a while because there's a place called the Chasm, which was recently rebuilt by Never Ember himself. And then there's the Rivers District, also known as the Towers District, which is actually a little seedier than Black Lake, but the only place that's really safe to wander around at night is Protected Enclave. Now,
I'm sure
I will tell you what.
Fine.
Yeah, no, the cemetery's not that bad. No, it's not terrible.
Okay.
But the chasm itself happened when Mount Hotenow erupted about 28 years ago. So when it erupted, simultaneously with eruption, there was a chasm that opened up inside of the city. And it destroyed about a quarter of the city when the chasm and hole opened up, opening up this like hole in the ground that like released these odd aberrant creatures. And only within the last, I think, 5 to 10 years, when Never Ember was able to focus his attention more on the city, was it able to be closed up and now is finally starting to be rebuilt. But as that's basically Neverwinter, and as you know, as this bunch of memories flies into your head, we find you sitting in the lower deck in the hold of the Beach Leviathan, and I would like to give our audience a chance to get a mental image of what each one of you sitting at this table look like.
Do we enter the what's the term? The letterbox cutscene moment, where it's like, and here we have our adventures, and just like you hear the corny piano playing in the background. Maybe it's some poor rendition of Meatloaf's Paradise by the Dashboard Light, and it just turns onto the why am I sounding like the DM? Crap, I'm not used to this.
Can I go first?
Absolutely.
So, I'll give you a little scene setting. I feel like you trying to set the scene means that you need the scene more set. So I will do that a little bit to help you out.
I apologize
then,
as a
so,
DM.
As the camera flies into this giant beached ship on the shore inside of the Black Lake District of Neverwinter in the evening, we pan into the door, and you can smell the scent of musk and men and work as you enter. But intertwined with the scent of wood because of the fact that this ship is so large. But you can feel the warmth as you enter because it's cool outside. And as you come in, you hear the laughing of voices, the clanking of glasses as people drink and revel about their daily commute and work. And we pan across the scene, looking at the barkeeps and different people across the scene of this just lower deck of a ship full of people eating and enjoying life. And we turn to a table where 3 adventurers sit.
Is there no piano playing Meatloaf's Paradise by the Dashboard Light?
We'll say it's being played by an accordion.
Okay, I'll work with you.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Right.
Inspiration.
Oh, thank you. I'll use it against you.
Aw, shit. All right, can I go first still? I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I actually fleshed out my lore. Glenn, can I go first?
Yeah, go for it, man. Take the initiative, Magdohr.
All right. Magdohr was born on the hills to a dwarven family of Bandai. Born to a family of smiths, it was Magdohr's responsibility to take up the mantle of his father and become one himself. His life revolved around the forge and his family. His life was pretty good until the Dwarven King challenged the smiths to a contest. In the final challenge, Magdohr lost to a member of the Steel Ore family. His disappointment immeasurable and his day ruined, he felt shame for himself and his family. As the loser of the contest, his punishment was to lose his arm. He prayed that night to his god, his deity, Moradin, who granted him the knowledge to forge a new arm. In return, Moradin requested Magdohr to leave his home and find the rarest metal of all. After forging himself a new iron arm, Magdohr left on his journey, where he met 2 aspiring adventurers, assisting him in his quest.
And I will say this. That was awesome. But I just wanted a physical description.
Oh, shit. I thought we were doing a background.
No, you're golden. Oh, no, you're golden. I want, honestly, and the beauty is that we understand more about that, but I would much rather our audience be able to experience that through conversation with your party members.
Shit.
Like experiencing that. Yeah, absolutely.
You just
no, you're fine.
that out loud.
You're fine.
We're just sitting there trying to drink.
Dude, the passion and the voice acting, it was great. I really loved it. But like, yeah, let's...
Okay.
For Nick and Tyler, give me your physical descriptions, maybe a little bit of what what people might know about you in Neverwinter, because we know Magdohr very well now. But I want, because obviously there's more to Magdohr than just that. Obviously, more than the paragraph describes a character, So we'll find more about your character out as we kind of work through this.
All right.
Exactly what your motivations and all that. But go ahead and give me characters. So give me, what does Magdohr look like? What is the color of his beard, his height, his weaponry?
Magdohr is a 55-year-old hill dwarf. He's 4 feet 6 inches tall. A little tall for a dwarf, but it's how he goes. He weighs 180 pounds. Brown eyes, light
Stout.
skin. Yeah, stout. Black hair, black beard. Looks brown in the sunlight, so it's not entirely black. And he's got a metal arm.
What sort of weaponry and armor are kind of like fixed upon him?
Right now, he doesn't have much armor. He's got some simple light armor, cloth and leather, whatever he could scrap around. Leaving his village, he grabbed what he could, including his warhammer, which is also his smith's hammer, a giant two-handed, warhammer.
You mean that +1 warhammer?
Yeah. Oh, is it +1?
A +1. Oh gosh, God himself has just came into.
It was familial, it was something that you took with you that mattered, so it's got to be a little nicer than your average warhammer.
Here, let me add to my story how I had a Wand of the War Mage +1 I kept with me
I had
from
a
my
Vorpal
father.
sword.
I forgot to say we stored all of our ore in a bag of holding, and I made sure to grab that before I left.
Yep.
My bad.
Actually, my parents died and left me an inheritance of 20,000 gold pieces. My story is Harry Potter, essentially.
But yeah, so that's Magdohr.
Very cool. Thank you, Magdohr. All right, Vol, why don't we have you go next?
Vol is a Goliath, which means usually on the larger spectrum. He is 7'1", 296 pounds, 34 years of age.
Sounds like me.
Which is quite long, usually, like statistically longer than most Goliaths would survive. He's got green eyes and gray skin with the standard Goliath patches of skin that end up looking like tribal tattoos, and a darker gray just covered his body. That's Vol. Some of the behaviors and some of the idea behind Vol is kind of like Drax the Destroyer and Kratos. So he's not necessarily the strong silent type, but he doesn't have the most to say in most settings. He's just fiercely competitive, and he'll do whatever he can to get the job done.
Cool. What sort of weapon and armors are kind of
weapons? Vol really likes using his short sword, but he keeps 2 on hand, and a longbow because he's a ranger. Armor-wise,
which does he prefer to use?
The swords. He definitely prefers the swords.
One of them being a +1 short sword, yes?
Oh shit!
No, they're just regular.
I like this guy.
Run-of-the-mill short swords. Vol does not need to make use of.
-1 actually.
Yeah, Vol does not need to make use of any favors.
He just carries an extra long butter knife on him.
He can get the job done with as minimal equipment as he needs to. Survivor. Armor. So right now he's on his day off, and he's just chilling in the tavern with some simple clothing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Some close clothing.
Got his weapons on hand, but he's not armored up.
Not armored up. He has on him at the very least, just the one sword. Just in case.
Awesome. Very lovely. Yeah, I mean, it's Black Lake, you know, like you don't just, it's the Blackwater district. You don't just not have a weapon on you.
Also, I would imagine my party would feel kind of safe considering the fact that they're with the Goliath and they're probably not that common out here. Nobody wants to mess with the 7'1", 296-pound man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
you have your table, and when you come in, people leave that table so that you guys can sit down.
I sit closest to the wall for sure. I keep the furthest distance from anybody else because I know he can take the hit. I cannot.
Who's he?
He is going to be Rodger. Everybody's going to know him differently from now on because he's technically a changeling. However, as we see it in the story right now, he is a human male with pale skin and slim build. He's got a bit of a bald head going on right now. You could argue it's shaved, but it doesn't really matter given his magical abilities. It can be whatever he wants it to be. He does keep a goatee of dark brown color unless he's trying to throw somebody off his trail, in case he did something a little bit less than questionable in the previous town visit over. He does change his hairstyle, but he does keep, and he counts very specifically every morning, 7 white hairs on his beard, just for good luck. If one were to fall out, he just changes another one to a white hair. Very indistinguishable since it's very lightly peppered. He is also 18 years old, exactly legal of age. And
do you appear as an 18-year-old, or is that actually how old you are?
In real life, in real life, this is just fantasy. He's caught in a landslide. Sorry,
Escape from reality?
Yes. His real character age is 18 years old. He probably looks like he's mid-20s because he wants to be able to order the beer even though he knows Vol wouldn't let him drink it. And so he's got a water and maybe the fantasy equivalent of a club soda.
Okay. All right.
And in terms of stuff that he's wearing right now, he tries to keep it very inconspicuous as part of his motif, wearing a plain dark brown, maybe a leathery looking cloak over his basic garnishments. No, that's stuff for food. Garments. There we go. I had an extra.
You got there.
Yep. I'm very tired. But he tries to keep, he likes to look as plain as possible. That way, if he does need to shift into a different persona of sorts, it's not going to be noticeable. It's like, hey, that guy wearing a rainbow collar suddenly turned from a human to an elf. But if, you see a elf walking around in a brown cloak and a human walking around in a brown cloak, it's a little bit easier for him to pull it off if he's in a bit of a pinch, if you will.
You're trying to be as inconspicuous as possible.
Like, when he is in full go-to mode, he's the kind of guy that likes to show off flair, but when he's trying to keep out of the eye, he's going to look as bland as possible.
Okay.
Right
now
he's
is
just
that changing his specific face, or just like his clothing tends to kind of be more? Is it same face, more radiant clothing, sort of thing, and same face with plainer stuff, or?
We are currently in the beautiful Neverwinter, Jewel of the North. This is the Neverwinter, Jewel of the North, plain-looking man number 3. Essentially, if he's in a different town, he's gonna have he's trying to look like the Monica for any of those Doki Doki Literature Club fans of this area, where it looks different every time, but he still looks like the default setting anywhere he goes.
But his face is not always the same. His face changes from place to place.
It's noticeably different to his companions, but not to anybody else.
So how do your companions know who you are?
It's a good question. I would say that the most noticeable thing that they can piece out would be my oh goodness, what is it called? My arcane
focus?
Arcane focus, which I wear very loosely, but you can see the chain around the neck. It's a silver wrought amulet with bits of amber in it, but most noticeably you see an indentation in the dead center exactly where you would put a 50 gold piece diamond.
But it's missing said diamond, huh?
But it's missing. It's like he lost it somewhere along the way. He's very bitter about it. And there is a light imprint of a tattoo that he does keep on his chest as a fond memory of his family, that, you know, if anybody needs to, you know, confirm something, they simply need to look at me and ask the right question. I can either confirm with them by I'm the kind of guy that I can send a message through my left cheek by changing a tattoo onto my skin. Like, if they need to know, well, they better keep close, or they should be asking. Otherwise, if I'm sitting at the table, I look completely weird. They've probably sat down at the table with somebody completely random once or twice in the career here, and just realized it was somebody. It was actually default character number 2 instead of number 3.
What's up, Rodger? My name's not Rodger.
Stan, what are you doing?
Awesome. Well, I mean, the beauty is, though, that as you're sitting there, you put your hand in your pocket as you relax, and you realize there's a 50 gold piece diamond in your pocket. You just misplaced it.
I knocked over the table. Everything goes up in the air for a quick second as I put this diamond into my arcane focus, and Rodger's happy. Suddenly he's like, "Hi." Ooh, he's a little pep and stuff. Like, he just got paid pretty well. He's in a pretty good mood suddenly. It's like,
yeah. What are you guys eating? What's your favorite drink and food? Or you as you're sitting at this tavern? Just ale? Just ale? Very dwarven. Ale is food.
Now, are you the kind of person that would chug it, or are you kind of the guy that's just constantly sipping from it?
I chugged the first 8, sipping on the 9th.
And now, I know we said earlier, for those of you who are just listening, which is most of us, we have cameras and we do live stream these recordings. And our good friend, our good dwarven friend, Magdohr, he has his camera positioned so that just his eyes and forehead are visible because he's short, which is why I gave him an inspiration point. And just so you know, I just thought it was worth noting because it's funny and I appreciate the creativity. Yeah, so we're sipping on ale there, Magdohr. What about everyone else?
I'm watching merrily while, very, very bitterly drinking from my water. I keep eyeing whatever Vol's drinking to see if I can't get a paper straw or something like that to shove me over to his drink, but he is very watchful. So water it is.
And since his exile, Vol has enjoyed partaking of some of the more common pleasures, particularly mead.
Okay.
He's taken a liking to the sweet taste of mead because that's not something a typical Goliath tribe would have access to. So just some mead and some meat, kind of little, undercooked just the way Mom would make it. Is that
classic mead and mutton?
Yeah.
The number 4 on the menu.
Yeah. Little undercooked, kind of the way that Mother would make.
There you go.
I'd probably be eating the pretzels there. The pretzels and popcorn that they give.
And Rodger, they don't have pretzels and popcorn.
What kind of establishment is this?
I slam my fist at the table and say, "What is this?"
They do serve
an Applebee's
18-year-olds alcohol. That's the drinking age is pretty fluid in Black. My
character is 17 years old.
Oh, you're 17. Okay. It's
I'm
pretty
17
fluid.
and 11 months.
There's 15-year-olds in the corner that have been drinking. So.
Okay, for the sake of the thing, my argument is Vol won't let me drink because he thinks I'm too young still. I can still technically drink.
I just want to make sure that legally you're totally allowed to. If Vol wants to say no and you respect that, then that's fine.
Last time he drank, he almost burned down a building.
Oh, okay.
That's true. I'm gonna say with his passive perception, he would be able to easily see every time he sees me conjuring some kind of contraption of 4 different bendy straws as I try to shimmy over towards his drink anytime I see him looking away.
Out of character, could you change your finger to be a straw and just dip it into?
I mean, I could if there's some kind of creature that is of medium size that is humanoid like that, then yes. But if I'm gonna say, isn't there like some kind of elephant creature?
Loxodons don't exist here.
Antelope, or anteater, I mean.
Yeah, Loxodon are Magic the Gathering universe. It's a Ravnica thing. So unless one is plane shifted here, you've never seen one before.
Like
that's the only thing.
Vol looks down and sees his drink and reaches for it, but his hand goes through it as he realized I casted Minor Illusion and I, have his drink kind of like moving towards me. No, I'm just kidding. That never
Roll
happened.
for initiative.
I don't want to. I don't want to die within the first 15 minutes. Yeah, I am. What kind of complimentary stuff do they have here? Because I'm not the kind that order anything fanciful. Like,
just mixed nuts.
I will take D's nuts then.
Deets nuts.
D's nuts.
Deets.
Deets nuts. Pardon me.
There it is.
Like I'm separating the salted from the unsalted because I'm trying to watch my sodium intake, and I kind of push him towards Vol because I know Vol has a thing for salt for some reason, and yeah, I'm eating Deets nuts and plain water or club soda if you allow it, because I'm 18 and it's allowed, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Fizzy water.
Great. So you're enjoying your ale and your meat and mutton and your club soda and your mixed nuts. And as you sit there and kind of like revel in the fact that you have items that you didn't know you had before. But also as you just enjoy the end of a day, because you work for this company, kind of like doing shipping things, escorting, stuff around town, kind of helping unloading and stuff. It's honestly not like the most interesting thing for people with your skill set, but it's a way to make money and survive. So it's, you do what you gotta do, and sometimes that's not something you want to do until you find that thing that you can do that you want to do. And as you sit there and enjoy the evening, a hooded figure enters, which is kind of uncommon because most of the time it's not, it's not raining outside. You know that it is a cool night, but it is not, there's no sort of, it's not cold enough to be like, bundled up inside of anything. And, it's not raining, so nobody would be wearing a hood or anything. And the hooded figure enters, and the figure kind of like, you can see the chin, as the light in here is primarily candlelight by oils on the walls. So
I ready fireball under the table.
What's that?
I ready fireball under the table.
Firebolt?
Yes.
Okay, good. I thought you said fireball, and I was like, that's very scary.
That's very scary.
At
also,
level 1 also.
Spells. I'm gonna say I can waste cantrips pretending I'm preparing spells under the table. I would not do a spell slot unless I knew I was gonna ready the fight.
Yeah, what's everyone's passive perception?
14.
14?
13.
Awesome. 13? Great.
Man, I got my third eye open. I got an 11.
11? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So anybody who is not Rodger,
12 or
because
higher.
Rodger's doing it, sees the light of a light coming from underneath the table. Like you can see like Rodger's face being lit from below, as if there's some sort of light underneath the table. Do you do anything in response to that?
Rodger, put the fire away.
I don't have any fire. What are you talking about?
Boy, put the fire away.
And our dwarven friend, all you have to do is kind of, it's a quick turn, and you can see that he's got fire in his hand, and he's staring at this hooded figure.
Like I got the kind of like the look of a glare of a cat that just sends a stranger that is more like, honestly, the happiest man in the world could have came in, but Rodger is a paranoid person. He doesn't like seeing people that he can't, determine if they're good or not. And, a hooded figure that just came in for the rain, he sees that and he's immediately paranoid. He's not going to, outright attack, but he is at the ready.
So how do you respond when your Goliath friend says, put the fire out?
Oh, I don't have any fire. What are you talking about?
And I'm going to turn and look at the cloaked figure here and look back at Rodger and then just pick up my drink and start sipping again.
It's like you've accepted that whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. Right. There's nothing you're doing to change.
No point.
I'm gonna give Rodger a light smack across the back of his head. Put the fire out.
That would immediately put the fire out. It's like smacking a Zippo lighter shut. And I kind of like look at him. It's like, do you see that guy over there?
Yes.
Now, I don't know how well my wisdom would serve in this, but as a fairly unintelligent fellow, I could determine that person is dangerous.
Rodger, we've been over this. Not everybody's trying to kill you.
Not everybody. You haven't so far. Oh, like he counts like 3 fingers. He's like, less than a hand's worth, but shouldn't we be concerned?
All right, I've had enough of this. I'm gonna turn to the guy. Hey, are you dangerous?
And this figure that was previously scanning the room, they don't hear you because the bar is so loud. But around the time when you've yelled in that direction, maybe a few seconds later, they seem to find whatever they were looking for, and it's in your direction. And this person begins to walk towards your table.
I cast message towards Magdohr and I say, what the fuck are you doing?
We have any reason to worry, Rodger. We'll worry when the fighting starts.
You can't hear this.
No, I know. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
Because you've been saying I'm paranoid.
And it should be noted that message is a whisper, so you still move your mouth. It's just that no audible sound comes out, and only the intended person hears the whisper. So it looks like you go.
So okay, so I
people
should be.
Still know you're saying something to someone, even if they're not the recipient.
Okay, well, hopefully this person isn't a tabaxi and can read lips, because I'm just like I looked at Magdohr and it's like. For the audio listeners, like honestly, I could have just not said something, but he's also drunk, so maybe he just heard it. It sounded like a quiet whisper, but in his head, it probably sounded like the most obnoxious shouting you could possibly think of.
What did it sound like?
Me?
Give us an example.
Yeah, how do you think that sounded like?
Now, the big question is, do you think it would be my natural voice, or do you think it would be my human voice?
You choose that, right?
I'm going to say, for now, it's going to be my human voice, because I'm not ready to unveil that show horse yet.
Changeling sound? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so I look at Magdohr, cast message, blatantly whispered enough that even Vol could see it. What the fuck are you doing? And I look at Vol and I put both hands above the table and I says, all right, no fire, no fire. They're heading towards us.
Just eat your nuts. If we have reason for concern, then we'll fight.
I start popping nuts in my mouth nervously.
Great, I love it. So as you nervously eat nuts to keep yourself from trying to cast another spell to deal with this assailant that's moving towards you in your own mind, while you calmly wait for something to happen that should cause you to be actually alarmed, because you understand that your friend is a little bit paranoid, and Magdohr just continues to sip on that good old ale. This person arrives and pulls her hood back off of her head, and
I choke on the nut.
Constitution saving throw.
That was salted. I will make a Constitution saving throw. I got a 14.
You begin to choke on the nut. You have
with a 14. Wow. I mean, the salt should give me disadvantage for a 10. I'm not allergic to salt, but salt is like, it's like deadly to a changeling.
She pulls the hood back, and he goes and begins to choke. And will be unconscious unless someone does something.
I'm gonna thump him really hard on the back.
Give him a thump?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you may make another Constitution saving throw, but you will do it with advantage this time.
Awesome. I got a 19.
There you go. Yeah, you pop it, and the nut flies out onto the table and falls at the feet of the person.
I was worried that you're going to say you shot it out with such enthusiasm that it hit her right in the cheek, and that is our introduction to our new NPC.
No, but she does see you choke up a nut that falls onto the ground in front of her face, or in front of her feet. And she says, I'd heard you would be here. Do you mind if I sit down?
No, are you buying it?
Salted or unsalted?
And the face that you see, too, I should describe her as well. She's wearing a like a dark gray cloak, and she looks to be a wood elf woman, with like a deep green, kind of forest green eyes, and she has well kept auburn hair that is braided and pulled back to a single ponytail in the back, and what would like kind of like Aowen, not fully braided, so it's got braids on the side, but then it's loose on the back, but it's all pulled behind her head, and she's wearing like what you would recognize as kind of just basic light leather armor. And she has on her back, she has a quiver, but there is no bow. And then 2 sets of daggers in little sheaths on each side. And she says, "May I sit?"
If you buy it around, you can sit.
What?
Magdohr.
Yeah.
Buddy, you look great today. What's your read on her? And I kind of like give you a pat in the back and with that tap, a little bit of guidance, if you will, to hopefully see if you can get an idea what kind of person this is, an insight, if you will.
I kind of shrug him off, but you know, the damage is done. Guess I'll take
I've been guided.
take a look at her.
Oh, is that you casting guidance?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll take a look at her and just kind of give her.
Was that the wrong way to do that, or should I be doing it a different way?
I just needed to know that that's what you were doing mechanically.
Okay.
So if he tells me I'm rolling with an extra D4, I know why.
I'm going to give her a quick
Are you good?
once over, look her up and down.
Making
try to
an insight check?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I roll
And what are you trying to determine with this insight
just to
check?
see if she's suspicious.
Okay, cool.
Because
and
I
rolled-
know I'm paranoid, but he seems sensible, so I'm giving him the chance to figure it out.
I rolled a
Right.
23.
23? Yeah, I mean, she seems as though she's not here with intent to hurt you or anything like that. Though there's a good chance that she's going to be guarded about what she says.
She's okay.
She says, "So I can sit. I just want to be polite."
Yeah.
If you want to be polite, buy us all around, because my friend here, and I'm gonna thump on Rodger's back again, a little harder than I did from when I was trying to save him from choking. Could use a drink.
A
to
loose
calm him
nut
down.
from between the teeth pops out and lands on the table.
Okay, I'll be right back.
You're too.
And she heads over to the bar.
Like I check and like I get nervous because I thought it was a tooth at first, and look and I realize it's half a nut that I bit and just got stuck between the teeth.
All right.
I know that
Roger.
one was
Eating it.
insulted.
All right,
Yeah,
Rodger.
she comes back not long later.
She. Fuck, what was I gonna say? She asked nicely.
I do it
She's buying us a
seductively.
drink. So calm down. I'm gonna let you have one drink today.
One drink. Could I have the one?
She's getting it right now. So, for the love of God, calm the
oh gosh,
fuck down.
I hope it's a Jacqueline Daniels. I always wanted a shot of that.
You will drink what you were given, boy.
Okay. I mean, okay. Yes, I forgot. I'm a man. And I kind of like flex a little bit, and I puff my cheeks because I feel like my eyes were starting to sag a little bit as I'm like holding my form up. I'm like, yeah, yes.
You're a man as much as I'm a wood elf.
Got him. Great. So as he pops that joke, she returns with and she's holding, several steins, wooden steins. And this place is famous for the fact that it's like the wooden steins that they have here are made from the last shipment that they brought in of crates and wood barrels and stuff like that. He took those and turned those into the steins and plates and forts and stuff like that. And so these steins are actually made of old shipping material. So each one has different weird labels and print bits on the outside. So they have stories to them. But she sets one down in front of each of you, and she says, a solid dwarven ale, because I figure we would, he's probably our our dwarven friend here is probably the best taste tester here, and I wanted to cater to you, Master Dwarf.
I'm just gonna
I immediately take the shot.
Same. I just chug that shit.
Okay, you chug it, both of you?
Absolutely. After being insulted by the dwarf, and the dwarf is now being complimented, and being the show horse I tried to be, I immediately tried to seek to outdo him at his own game, and I tried to take down this ale I was definitely not prepared for.
Full?
Thank you for the drink, and I'm just gonna sip it.
You're gonna sip it? Okay, you two make Constitution saving throws. I believe because of your dwarven resilience, since technically drunk is a poisoned condition, you have resistance to this, so you'll have advantage on the roll. But our changeling friend will have no such advantages.
I rolled a 14.
Absolutely not. And I rolled what he got if he had disadvantage, but he didn't.
So what were the rolls then?
He got a 14. I got an 8.
Oh, well,
I clearly did not hold my weight. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, but
yeah, Magdohr is feeling happily buzzed. It's like a good place. But
and I want people to ask me questions.
9 in, I'm feeling buzzed.
And Vol is just like
Rodger.
completely thrashed. Sorry, Rodger is just completely thrashed. Within about, it takes a few seconds, and then you see him go, "Aw," as he begins to sway a little more than he was a few seconds before.
I have enough, I would like to think, consciousness to kind of like rub my cheeks to make them pink, because I don't think they would naturally turn pink, but I want to look like what I am at this point, so I make my cheeks a little bit flush, and I just kind of like rub them and cover it up to make sure no one notices that it's actually just like, honestly, if you think of a changeling changing the skin color a little bit, it almost looks as natural as a human would if they got a little tipsy, but maybe a little too fast. And that is after he puts his mug down on the table just a little too loudly, and he shoots a hand forward and says, "Hey."
That's it. I thought he was gonna say so much more. Hey, she says hello, and she begins to start to.
Hey.
She sets her mug down. She had taken a sip of it and looked at Vol and understandingly been like, we're doing this the right way. The dwarf can probably handle it, but he's already asking to shake my hand, so this is weird. She goes over to shake your hand, and
I'm
she
a
says,
Stegatarian.
"A Stegatarian?
Yes.
What is that?"
It means I'm good at drinking.
Oh, I'm in character right now. That's another thing I do at my table. If you don't take your hat off, I assume what you're saying is in character.
I am still in character.
Okay, good. And she says, "Stegatarian?"
Yes, it means I'm a good drinker.
Well,
what's your problem there, buddy?
Nothing. Which can I get another?
Congratulatories to you. I will have another water.
You will both have water. I would love to speak with you in a coherent manner, but until then, I will chat with your Goliath friend for a moment.
You will speak to my secretary.
And she
Volley.
snaps her fingers, and an area around both of you appears in the corner where, as you speak, you can't hear your own voice. And she says, "So shall we have a conversation, Vol? As you're the only one who has a sound mind currently?"
Sure.
So I tried to talk and it's in complete silence, I'm assuming.
But you could use message if you wanted.
I assume it's once a couple of seconds, I'm still pretty fucking hammered. I pretend it's a mime wall, and I immediately start putting my hands and face towards it.
Inspiration point. Awesome.
Thank you.
I just kind of shrug and take a drink. I still have my sipping drink.
Yeah, you got your drink. You're good. All right, and so you begin to mime. You begin to just Magdohr just assumes that everything's fine while Rodger, mimes doing his own little showy changeling thing. And she says, "Oh, these are your compatriots workmates? What?
Something of the sort. Dwarf we met recently. Human.
He's trustworthy when he doesn't have a stein in his hand, I assume.
Dwarves may be a bit greedy, but they're good people. And the human here, he's my ward. But I have a question for you, Miss Elf.
Sure, of course.
How do you know my name?
Oh, I was directed to find you. You and your friends here. I'd been looking for you for a few hours in different taverns in the area. And when I went to one, they said they were familiar with one of your name, and they said that they thought you frequented this tavern as your favorite place to drink. Doing the rope. Awesome.
What's the job?
And she looks at them and she touches both of your shoulders, both Magdohr and Rodger, and you feel yourself no longer inebriated as she's cast Lesser Restoration, removing the poison condition. So she just undrunked you.
Oh,
and
fuck
she
this.
snaps and removes silence, and she says, "I'm sorry, I will buy you another round afterwards, but I needed to speak with you in a coherent state, and I didn't want to disclude you from this any longer." As your friend has asked me what the job is, and I should let you know my name first. My name is Elgira. And are you all receptive to making some coin on a job that I have for you?
I don't know, Dwarf. Do you like coin,
my
Dwarf?
non-existent glasses start flashing.
Sorry, I couldn't hear either of you because
I'm
you
sorry,
spoke at the
Nick,
exact
go
same
ahead.
time.
I keep talking.
Do you like coin, Dwarf?
I needed to get done what I need to get done. I'll go on whatever quest she has.
Right, and Rodger will just follow me, so...
Wonderful.
Continuing my mime act, I feel like a collar being tugged at around my neck.
You know you can talk now.
Yeah,
Okay,
she removed the silence spell as well.
I look her dead in the eyes and I say in Elven, "Hey."
She says, "Hey."
Like, did she say that back in Elvish or Common?
No, just in common. She's not about discluding people if they can't understand her. She's a very inclusive person, and she's trying to speak to all of you, and she knows you can all speak common. So
Absolutely. I have a small scroll and maybe a quill or some charcoal out, and I write her name down just to keep a note of it, and I say, Elgira.
Elgira.
Is there an apostrophe in there?
No. Elgira, just like it sounds. Now, for the sake of transparency, I can't tell you who the benefactor of this job is, but I can say that if you do well, you do it efficiently in a timely manner and complete the mission, there will be more work and you will be able to meet said benefactor. Is this agreeable? Obviously, the choice is yours, but I don't want to push you into anything where I'm being, I'm not discreet about any of this. I'm telling you what I'm supposed to and what I'm allowed to.
It's not the Dwarven King, is it?
Oh, of course not.
All right,
he's
I'm
a
in.
bit of a... Yeah, he's not really used... He doesn't like cooperating with others all the time, so we're not... I've never met him myself. That's just what I hear.
Rodger looks like he seriously the fuck up, both arms on the table, leaning a little bit forward, and complete change of pace, and he's like, "Is this benefactor lawful?"
Do they follow the law? They are not a bad person. I can say that this person, you wouldn't be serving like a Shadow Lord or a member of Brigand to Aerith or something. Not a gang lord or slum lord or odd person of dark nefarious means.
I don't care if they follow the law. I'm just asking if they're lawful.
That's what lawful means, my boy.
He like pauses for a moment and he looks at Vol and looks at her and kind of like looks at the table for a second and says, "All right, I'm in."
I love this like 18-year-old persona. And she says, Vol, How do you feel about this proposition?
Well, it would help if I knew what the job was.
There you go. I just wanted to see if you were receptive, based on the circumstances, and then I would move forward because I didn't want to present the job and then tell you that I couldn't tell you who the benefactor was, because obviously it's not me. If you're all receptive, the job is that there is, because part of the reason we reached out to you is because we know that you work for a shipping company and you've been known to do escort jobs for said shipping company, and several of the merchants heading to the east of the town, inland, through the Neverwinter Wood have been attacked and raided and have lost stores of food and lumber and supplies that were supposed to be headed inland towards Tribor and some of the cities in the Desserin Hills on the opposite side of the forest. And those merchants have expressed a need for that to be dealt with. So we need someone to take an escort mission knowing that they're going to get raided, most likely. And I figure who better than somebody like yourselves who has experience in escorting merchants and their goods.
Excellent hazard pay. How much?
The pay for going into the forest and dealing with them or bringing them back for prosecution would be 5 gold per person.
What are the merchants transporting?
Just basic goods. It's mostly just things that the people of the Desserin Hills cannot get as readily where they are. Lumber, specific food supplies, because, the Desserin Hills are it's a little harder to come by mass amounts of lumber. So, if somebody wants to build a tavern or something, a house out there, they have to purchase the lumber from somewhere where there is more lush forest. And that would be us. We provide that, depending on the merchant. So, but as you can tell, that would be quite a loss for somebody who, probably worked for, months and months and months, maybe years, to get enough money to be able to purchase the lumber for their own home. So it's common people that are being hurt here, not any elite or anything. It's just a problem for the common man.
Does anybody find it ironic that the wood elf is helping to transport lumber?
Oh, I don't work for the transport mission.
Oh, all right.
I'm an emissary of my benefactor. I actually generally work in Neverwinter.
Rodger immediately becomes paranoid again now that he's sobered back up.
So you want us to walk into a trap and you'll pay us for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And anything you happen to find,
pay?
if you're able to find, that is the hazard pay. The common man makes 10 gold in a year. You'd be getting half a year's wages in one job.
It seems that we've been getting a little bit of A and a little bit of C, but the total is a D. Seems we're missing a variable here. We're missing an F.
Pay no
I'm not
attention to
picking
him.
up what you're putting down.
He counts his fingers and says, Can I count? Yes, I am a man. I can count. I believe there should be more pay for this. I feel like for that kind of pay, it brings a lot of
I will let you know that you have made, in about a year, you've never made 5 gold in a year working basic jobs for a shipping company.
I have
You've
a
never made that much in a full year. This is a lot of money.
I have a proposition, Rodger. And, Ali, whatever your name was,
My name is Elgira.
That isn't a preposition at all. That's
it's for both of you. It's for both of you.
Grammar.
Any items we find from the caravans that have been looted, is that ours to keep?
Before your friend was going to, before he went off on his A, D, C, and F tangent, I was going to let you know that anything...
Did you forget the letter M? You
No.
forgot about M.
You didn't say it, though. Before he went on his tangent, I was going to let you know that if you find any of the supplies that are obviously meant for transport still in crates with, if there's a shipping manifest listing a supply on it, we would like those returned so they can be given to the people that have already paid for them. but anything that's not listed on a manifest that you may find is yours.
Do we receive extra gold for every shipping crate that we bring back?
No, that's part of the pay.
So leave it there.
I can say that if you can bring them back alive, there's a good chance that you'll receive a little bit more pay because, bringing them to justice is of great value. Now, if you have to take care of them, then that's understandable because maybe it's not likely that they'll want to come in alive. But if you can, there may be some bonus pay so we can make sure that those who would do the common man wrong are brought to justice.
Do you feel like bringing them back alive would be worth maybe an extra gold per head?
Honestly, I don't have it within my right to say yes or no, but I can speak with my benefactor if that's something you would wish, and maybe if that happens, we can negotiate bonus pay upon your return with said living offender.
Right, so you want us to negotiate after we complete it?
Only because I don't have the right to say yes to that, because it's not my coin.
When do you want us to set out? What he said. Like, I finished my sentence, but then I stopped myself and go, what he said.
Whenever you would like to. Obviously, the sooner the better, but, it might be better to not do it at night, Or first light tomorrow would be the earliest I would ask you to be.
That's excellent. That's just enough time for you to speak to your benefactor's name.
No, my benefactor is not someone I can speak with on such short notice. But there is a shipment going out early morning tomorrow if you'd be willing to accompany them. I don't know why coin is such a big deal, as this is a large amount of money. Why are you so pressing on this?
I put my hand on Rodger's shoulder and squeeze kind of tight, and I'm like, don't worry. He's just being an idiot. He's a boy and he doesn't understand the value of money.
Nick, what's your passive perception again?
14.
14.
I think Vol would notice that as he clasps down on his shoulder, it feels like he's squeezing Play-Doh that's slightly hardened. And he kind of feels things a little bit squishy than what it should be. Rodger does not react to this.
Paul doesn't react to this either because this is something he's used to. Because he knows how to
It doesn't hurt him nearly as much before because he's used to it and he's letting his body become free-flowing where you grabbed him at, essentially.
I will let you know that there are other eligible persons to take care of this job.
We'll take it.
If it's not... Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take it too.
Okay, good. I mean, I was hoping that you would say that as you were the ones that I wanted to find, but,
I look at the camera and I say, for the sake of the story, I will accept.
And then
is this the master quest or the side quest?
All right, I need you to make a deception check.
Huh?
Who?
You're obviously not happy with these terms, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist.
That's you.
I rolled the majestic 11.
11?
I might have act chill about it, but I'm clearly not chill. But I also have a firm grip on my shoulder, so I stopped becoming the barking chihuahua essentially, and I kind of clam up and I just.
And she looks to each one of you, and she sees Vol obviously understands that this is a decent deal, and you have accepted, yes, Vol?
Yeah, and then
and the dwarf is like, yeah, but what's up?
Forgive me, miss, I can't remember your name, it's late in the night, but when it comes to matters with me and accepting quests, Rodger's just gonna listen to what I say for the most part, so don't worry about dealing with him. You'll be dealing with me for the most part. And the dwarf is just joining us.
Yeah, he's my dad.
The dwarf is along with us, so basically you'll be taking both of our opinions into account. Not that Rodger cannot raise concern, but in this matter, I think he's a little bit stupid.
At this point, it's obvious that Rodger is unhappy with these terms, but I will do my best to negotiate bonuses for you upon the return of living members so that you may receive a little more coin. Just know that I'm doing my best and I'm presenting a good job for good coin.
I tap my head in confusion. It's like, that's right. You said you're going to talk with... What was his name again?
I have not told you a he or a she or a name, so good try.
Can I make one request?
I can let you voice it.
You offered us a drink upon sobering us up, but I was already 8 in. I'll meet you halfway and say 4.
How about I just get you something particularly stout?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, preferred drinks, obviously. To toast our partnership and this job that you'll be doing for us, I would love to get you each a drink of your choice. So something stout from Master Dwarf. What about you two? Vol and Rodger, what can I get for you?
She called me a master.
I have face forward. Like, I have like the 1,000-yard stare because I feel like there's a gaze on me right now. That is of a Goliath. And I just say, water will do.
Easy.
Ice water.
Simple. Water is good for you.
Rodger, you can get another one. Just let it be known that this could possibly lead to a, as she said, to a possible partnership with whoever our benefactor is. So there's probably more coin.
Like I said, success will lead to more work. I promise you that.
Excellent, LGA. And I will be more than happy to work with you. Just understand, if I find out your benefactor is somebody who's cause for unjust, I will find you, and I will ask you more questions.
I will answer them candidly as I have already.
Of course. Thank you.
I'm sorry, out of character. I thought you were gonna make a threat, and I'm like, I will find you and I will kill you, and I'm like, I would be like, I will ask you more
Not very
questions.
lawful.
Can I tell you guys
Liam
something
Nielsen.
really funny?
Yep.
There is a character in another campaign that I'm running who is playing a centaur, and his name, he almost went with the name Liam Nason.
It took me a second to realize the pun on that.
Yeah, but now he's Pony Montana.
All right.
Cool. Okay.
So that's look forward to that, because that is the live stream that will be happening on the same night that we record this, just in the evening. So
Awesome.
we're ready to roll. But enough of another plug for another thing that I do. But awesome. And she says, so Vol, is there any other, what drink can I get for you?
I'll take a mead, please.
Mead? Great. And she says, unless there's anything else, do you have any more questions for me before I take my leave and get another round for you gentlemen?
We just need to know where and when, and we'll leave. I know you said first light, but where do we meet the caravan?
There is a shipment coming in tonight, which will be prepared through the evening by some overnight workers, and it should be ready to go and ready to ship by first light tomorrow in the docks, at the docks. So if you look for, I believe it's being transported by a group of humans, and there is a specific symbol, and she draws a symbol of the company that is shipping it, basically, and hands it to you. And it looks like kind of like a T and a C, like put on top of each other. And she says, "This is the symbol of the company." And just look for that and let them know that you are the escort for their transport, and they will be receptive to you, and they should understand, that you're the right people.
I got one more question for you. When we're done with this job, how will we find you?
Oh, that is a great question, Master Dwarf. If you come back to town and simply leave a missive for me here within the 10-day, I will make sure that I come back here and we can set up a meeting with the benefactor to get the next set of work done.
All right.
Because there's more jobs on the docket. Just need to see that you're capable of this.
Excellent. Pleasure doing business with you.
thank you. And she says, I'll take my leave. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll have your drinks sent to your table. Have a lovely night. And she gives a curt bow and then walks away towards the bar. And you can see her conversing with the bartender now.
As she walks
obviously
away,
ordering your drinks.
I would like to give one last call out to her. And I go, Elgira, beware the gifts of the traveler.
Sorry, say that one more time for me.
No, it's okay. You're editing. You get to change it. Beware the gift. I will cut you. I'm saying this out of character. I
didn't say anything.
You laughed. Oh, did she laugh in character? She's like,
No, that was me. I laughed into the side. That's fine. I'm not cutting this. I just want to make sure that everyone can hear what you're saying.
Absolutely. I say, beware the gift of the traveler. Have a good day.
And she kind of furrows her eyes, or what is it, narrows her eyes a little bit. And then...
You see me shrug and like shake my head.
Yeah, and she mirrors that afterwards and goes, okay. And then walks away. And then begins to order your drink.
Absolutely. Awesome. I I kind of like lift a glass up to my lips even though I don't have anything.
I just drink.
Beautiful. Yeah, so eventually those drinks are sent to you, but instead of them being like your average like 2 copper piece mug of whatever you would have ordered, they are tiny like casks of whatever you had asked for. So there is
like growlers.
For you, there is a like a small, like the equivalent of what you would see like at a water cooler. You know, they put the things upside down and gravity feeds it in, but it's like a nice large thing of very nicely purified water. And this is a brand of water that you would see around. It's like the smart water of that time. So it's a little more expensive than the normal stuff. It's purified.
Oh, this is level
nice.
25 water versus level 15.
There you go. And then there is a tiny, like for each of the other gentlemen who are drinking alcoholic beverages, there's miniature casks that are kind of about the size of like a small watermelon, like about, basketball size, casks of the drinks, like a kind of like the wine cooler size of the day. So you can actually get several mugs out of this. She over ordered to make sure that you would have enough for the evening.
I take one of the taps out, or I'm guessing it's tapped.
Yeah, it's got like a little lever and
I
spout
just
that you
hold
can
this keg up
and just
start drinking.
Awesome. You catch right up to where you were after 8 or 9 in earlier.
I look at Vol and I go, don't you think this is a bit odd?
What do you mean?
Well, and like he minor illusions like a little whiteboard in front of you, and I continue like minor illusioning like a checklist. If you're okay with me making a little checklist here instead of writing it down with charcoal on the table, which I could also do, but I'll probably get thrown out of the bar. Anyways, I go, she has a benefactor she cannot contact immediately, which means he's either out of town or a different realm. That's suspicious. She recognized you just by having no description, which you can understandably say it's a Goliath, and also for somebody who wants us to get paid for a over large sum of money for a bunch of bandits, and then immediately tried to get us drunk the night before the job. It just begs a lot of questions. Are you sure this is actually a escort and not a hit?
We can take it.
Cool.
There have been many things that have tried to kill us over the years and none of them succeeded, so if it is a hit, I'm more than happy to get paid for it. But also keep in mind, we have been operating out of this town for quite a while, so it is not unusual for people to recognize, at the very least me, who would easily stand out of place just on appearance alone, especially considering that she said that she works out of this town.
But to make over quintuple the amount of pay in one job compared to a whole lifetime, it just seems... What are they transporting?
Rodger, who hurt you?
Well, I point at you.
Well, for good reason, because of shit like this.
Yes, that's exactly why you tore me from my parents when I was 5 years old. Thank you.
Can I speak up here?
I look at him coldly with these words.
Yes, Dwarf.
I just want to say, for the pay, they're clearly having problems with this. If they can't hire their own effing mercenary to do this, then we're the best that they've got, and that's the pay that they're going to offer.
She saw me doing the wall as portrayed by a French mime of a foreign land, and still she hired us. Don't you think that is odd?
Let's be real, she was here for the Goliath. What's more intimidating on the road than a 7-foot man?
My voice immediately changes to sound like a dwarf.
Oh, it could be me, Master Dwarf. Look at me. I'm so handsome. I can drink better.
And
You're right.
Listen, you have been, despite everything I might not have expressed it, but you have been useful, and we are going to be okay.
I cry. Like well, okay, let me rephrase that.
Anime cry.
I try crying, but for whatever reason, trying to express human emotions that freely is difficult. So I take the water and I start dabbing each side of my cheeks, so it starts running down my eyes. So yeah, I'm just taking this level 25 mana water. And
this isn't about money for you. You've got a 50 gold diamond right there. Why are you concerned about 5 gold?
I tuck away my arcane focus like, you didn't see that.
Okay.
All right. I stand up, I grab the cask, because obviously I need a nightcap. I'm gonna go up to my room. You make sure you guys get some rest. Dwarf, I'm not worried about you, because you're a dwarf, and you're probably okay. But Rodger, make sure you get some rest so that we can stay alert on the road tomorrow.
I will let you know, guys, too, just as a part of this is the narrative that we've kind of crafted together. You do have your own respective places that cost a little bit of coin. You have a little bit of coin. Obviously, I think the game starts you out with a little bit since we're all level 1. You have rooms that are in a squalor part of town, so they cost about 5, copper a day to live there. Unless you'd like to start to, save some money and invest that in trying to get a more permanent place. But if you want to have a place in the same inn that's a copper or 2 a day, that's fine. And you can we'll say that it's in your daily wages cover that, so you don't have to worry about money changing.
I have a question about the finances. This is not something I think we encountered too much on the first campaign that Tyler runs. What's the conversion? So how many copper to a silver and how many silver to a gold?
10.
10, okay.
Mm-hmm. And there is an obscure one called Electrum, but I don't usually use it.
No,
so don't worry about
that. Only the devil uses those. What was our starting amount, do you know? And is it shared?
It should be based on your background. Background gives you starting gold.
Okay, I'll look that up later then.
Yeah. For now, like I said, your job at the shipping company pays for your rent at this place because it's not something that's super expensive, so you don't have to worry about changing your gold every single day.
Would that mean people who are in is the tavern a part, like the tavern we're drinking and eating in, a part of our same living space right now?
No, the tavern doesn't have places that are that cheap. So you guys head to bed at your respective places. We can decide kind of off camera where, off recording, where exactly you want to live, what sort of house you want to stay in, that sort of thing. If you want to start investing, saving money, we can talk about, later about how much that costs. If you want to buy a house or, pay for a room in an inn that's nicer indefinitely or for a longer period of time, that's fine. But like I said, you have a studio apartment in a crappy place, basically. It's got a bed, it's got a place to wash your face when you get home and a little, box to store your food in. But yeah, you head to bed that night unless there's anything else you'd like to do before you crash.
Go ahead, Brandon. I always go first. I want to make sure you go first.
An out of character question, but relating to that. I had meant to ask her, and you don't have to clarify this if it's out of the question. Was that 5 gold a piece or total?
A piece.
Each person.
Okay.
Like, it was a lot of gold.
Yeah, and it's like 5 to 6 months wages, because usually a person's gonna make about a gold a month doing a basic job, kind of somewhere in the lower middle class. So the common man would look at 5 gold for a job and go, whoa, all right. You know, it's like giving me, $40,000, because I live in California, so, yeah.
I was going to say 40,000 is enough for me for 1 year here.
I know.
I need to go to my house, per se, because I've got all my armor and the rest of my weapons there, so get ready for the...
You're gonna go and crash and sleep for a few hours and then get up, because it's probably only about 4 or 5 hours before the time when you would need to get up and go. I'm not gonna penalize you guys or anything, because you were at the tavern. It was 11 or 12 o'clock. You got to be there at 4:30 or 5. But I'm not gonna give you any penalty for that. So is it safe to say, everybody? Okay.
I would have said that. Do I have some kind of like dresser or something meager to that effect? Some kind of
you have what is it called?
Armoire?
You have like a small armoire. Simple, it's got a couple doors with hangers on it and a rod across the center with a couple drawers on the bottom part of it.
Okay. I'm good.
I would say before I went to bed, I pull out a dagger I have, and I kind of look at it. Just maybe admire it, like to the audience eye. It just looks like I'm kind of staring at it for a minute, and since nobody else can see that, I would lay a single dagger on the armoire of sorts near my bed, and I go to sleep.
Okay. Anything else that either Vol or Magdohr do?
No, I passed out.
Okay, crashing. All right, you wake up at the appropriate time.
You die.
Gather your things together. Yeah, you wake up and you're dead.
Oh, damn.
All right, next campaign.
Where's my kidney?
All right, let's move on. You got a job at night and sleep. She poisoned you with all those
Welcome to Neverwinter, Jewel of the North.
I know, right? Wow. So you wake up at the appropriate time, get your stuff together, and make your way to the docks, and not too far out. I don't know, do you guys live in the same place, or at least in the same area, so you can group up before you get there?
I don't have any self-control over my decisions to some extent, so I feel like if I was living somewhere, it would probably be somewhere to where if Vol knew I was up to trouble, he would find out fairly quickly. So
Vol's probably the one that knocks on your door and is like, all right, let's go, and he wakes you up and you guys get ready to go.
Oh yeah, when Vol comes in, I'm completely in changeling form. Like I am gray skin, open gape mouth, very flimsy white wispy hair around my head. Like, I look absolutely nothing like the Rodger that people know, but Vol gets to see this when he comes in, because I don't like to keep my form when I go to sleep. I like to pop off the bra, if you will, and go back to my natural state. And yeah, Vol wakes me up and I go, "Ah! Vol, why would you wake me up like that?"
Oh. Vol?
Nick is either frozen in place or he doesn't know what to say.
No, I just having gotten used to this after so many years, I just stare at him. It's time to go.
Time to go where?
Bull. It's me.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
It's me.
Bull.
Rodger.
Are you talking to yourself?
I'm talking to myself.
Bull.
Yeah. Rodger.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk to myself. Not just self. Why am I letting locks not happen on my door?
Rodger. It's time for the mission. Get ready.
Rodger that. And he turns into actual Rodger, and Rodger in his changeling form sleeps completely in the nude, so he jumps out of the bed and he is a fully nude man with imagine him like a Ken doll though, so anything that could draw the eyes down is just completely smoothed over. It's very disconcerting to anybody who sees this, and I'm sure it annoys the shit out of Vol, because I'm sure Vol has like tried to provide like at least a loincloth or something to cover up the shame or lack of. No, you don't care.
No, not at all. I mean, you know, coming from like a Goliath tribe, this is kind of like
Tribe of Goliath, yeah.
Like wearing armor is uncomfortable for us for the most part. Like we're not used to donning like heavy sets of armor or like armor that because we're used to the cold, so we don't really need to cover up so much. So I'm like, just put on your clothes for the commoners. Let's go.
All right, all right, robe me. And he like sticks his arms out.
I leave. Wait outside.
I continue the T pose for like 30 seconds. 30 seconds, and it's like, can't get any good help nowadays. And I robe myself, and I grab all the stuff I would need for at least 1 or 2 days travel, including rations and all that. Rations for the Canadians.
Magdohr? What do you do, bud?
I fell asleep as close as I could to a blacksmith. If any of them had a room,
you can sleep outside of one if you want.
If any had a room,
I thought you were gonna say
fine.
like the dwarven woman rolled over in your bed and said, "Why, hello."
Yeah, no, there's a small little shabby little inn near, like probably 2 houses down from a decent blacksmith.
The sound helps me sleep. Yeah.
Oh, inspiration point! I love that.
Yes, the closed down blacksmith.
The clanging of the hammer in the night
reminds me of home.
The roaring of the forge. Great.
That I don't have anymore.
Oh no!
But you like. You get your stuff together and just also make your way towards,
I'll just meet
towards the docks.
I know what time I need to be there.
Yeah, you guys are all very timely. Maybe a few minutes late because, you know, Rodger, a little bit of a difficult person to get up and around, but you make your way there, eventually kind of converge at one of the intersections, see each other walking towards each other. Magdohr, you wait for them to get to you as you are there a little quicker. And then you all begin to walk to the docks district, and eventually you find very few people this early are working even in the docks. And there is a group of people that are hitching horses up to wagons, and they're mostly humans, but there's a few half elves and elves and dwarves working among them. But they're all wearing kind of like a pretty common uniforms, but they have a blue symbol with that TC. Emblazoned and a patch on their chest above where their heart would be, and they see you all approaching, and kind of give you a knowing nod, just not even. You guys have done escort jobs a lot. Like you have nothing to talk about with these guys, like unless you want to make a point of talking. But there are plenty of escort jobs you've done where you just stand near and walk by them, and then you get there, and they offload it, and you're done, and you haven't said a word to them. So unless you want to initiate conversation, they'll just go about their business.
Nope.
How many wagons?
6.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all covered too. Like they're covered
high?
kind of like the equivalent of, you know, kind of what we would see for like Western expansion covered wagons. So they do have like canvas over the back end, and it should be like a rider and a driver on the front, like little bench.
When we set up, what's the formation like?
That's up to you.
You're deciding the formation of the wagons, or Volas?
Oh no, I mean it's a single file. It's just 6 wagons in a row. So how you want to position yourself among them is up to you. But they did as a part of the job, they provided each one of you with a horse if you would like it.
Okay, I'll take the horse.
Obviously, they're the property of those people, but like you have a horse if you'd like to ride one during this.
I just want to make sure that, are you using a back scratcher as your limb right now?
Yeah, that's my.
I wasn't sure if you were, because
I've had it with me just in case.
Flesh, awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, I'll take a horse. My legs don't walk as fast as the Goliath.
They've got a pony for you.
Oh boy.
It's still got it's a little bit slower, but it's much easier to fit into the stirrups for you.
Okay, so before we set off, I would imagine, being who I am, I sort of direct Magdohr to sort of like hover around the middle of the procession, and then I direct Rodger to sit up right at the front, and then I pull up at the back. So in case,
and there is a person who's kind of walking around with a ledger, and they're like checking each one of the wagons. And since you're kind of telling them where to go, and he's telling other people where to go, he does approach you and say, "So you're leading our escorts for the day?"
Yes, I am. Is there any of the wagons that are particularly useful that we need to know about? Like, yeah.
No, they're all pretty basic supplies. It's just a matter of making sure that you keep even protection and keep your eyes open.
How many?
You know the drill.
How many people are going to be with us?
We've got 2 per, so there's 12, and they can all kind of handle weapons if they need to, but they're not amazing. They're not fighters like you.
Understood.
You guys could. You'll definitely be more. They'll stay with the wagons no matter what. They're not gonna chase anybody off.
Understood.
They're gonna stay and defend the carts that they're with.
Do I see Magdohr? You said Magdohr was in the center or to the side?
Mm-hmm. They're all like front to back right now, so you can pretty much see everybody, and you see, Vol talking to. Yeah, you see Vol talking to a guy with a ledger in his hand.
Do I see anything like in the wagons that would bring anything to the not so discerning eye?
Why don't you go ahead and make a perception check?
Absolutely.
Determine if any of these are maybe
That's
holding
a nat
something.
20.
A nat 20? What's the
Nat
total?
21.
21? Great.
Plus 1.
Because that is of note, just because skill checks and saving throws can't be crit
I know
off.
they don't. I know, but I like
But it is nice. That 20 is great.
I would like to say anytime somebody gets a nat 20, we should cheer, but that's okay.
Oh no, we need to cheer that because 20s are amazing. Woo!
Okay.
It's just not automatic success. I don't want the excitement to mean automatic success.
Is that the first 20 of the campaign?
That is the first natural 20 of the campaign.
And it only took like 3 or 4 rolls.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
But yeah, so you
My
don't
third eye
notice
opens.
anything. Wow. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary as you kind of you check there are 6 carts, like I said, so you kind of are going to be responsible based on your experience for kind of moving around 2 of the ones in the center, being in the middle of the procession. And you kind of take a chance to kind of inventory what's on each of these 2 in that amount of time without spending more time than would be logical checking all of the 6 carts. And you don't see anything that looks weird. There's not you kind of knock on a couple of the boxes. None of them sound weirdly empty or superbly full. They just sound like they have stuff in them. And they're even, some of them are labeled they're, basic supplies, blankets, fresh water. Some of them have seeds. Some of the carts actually hold cut and
motorcycles.
No, there's a tool in my neighborhood who drives a Hellcat, and he likes to rev up and down the street. My neighbor says he's nice, but I hear that and go, bum, 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 bum. Anyway. So yeah, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary.
Including smell?
No, everything looks to be just what they said. It's a shipment going to a place that needs simple supplies that they can't get where they currently are, in the amount that they need them in.
I shout to Magdohr and I say, "It's okay, buddy. I don't think there's anything for us to take."
All right.
Vol, stand down.
I try to kind of say it under my breath, but the dwarven thrall call. I don't know the word I'm looking for. The dwarven voice doesn't really suit much for
Ladle.
for whispering.
Ladle.
I look to Rodger and I'm like, you know the drill. You see anything suspicious, you call for a halt, and then we'll investigate. Post up, investigate. Same thing goes for you, Magdohr. You see or hear anything suspicious, make the call. We'll stop, investigate, make sure everything's good before we set off again.
I turn my third eye to the front of me and I scan for anything that could be deemed suspicious. As someone who's clearly paranoid, anything out of the norm would catch me immediately. But that also could mean that a broken branch on the ground could trigger an alarm out of me as well.
Is this a clue?
Is this a booby trap as I hold up a butterfly?
All right. So you're looking for more suspicious things?
I mean, not from the caravan, but for any either traps laid ahead for the caravan or bandits in question.
Oh, I take your passive perception to see that. I'm not going to make you make a perception check every 10 feet. That would be crazy.
Excellent. I look at my character sheet and I shout to Vol in the back saying, "This was a bad idea putting me in front."
That's actually the most important, but you would know that.
I wouldn't know that, but
Hey,
it
you
is
would.
important that
Your job
I
is
would?
an escort. Yeah, you're an escort. You know that the part of the reason you're in the front is because you don't see as well as Vol does.
Right, you gotta cover the ass.
Yeah, he needs to see everything, and you can be a little more focused. So your ability to, it's kind of like being an ADC compared to being a jungler. Map awareness is very important. He can see a lot better than you can, so you're in a place where you don't need to see as much to be effective.
Basically, I'm limiting the amount of things you have to be paranoid about. You only have to see right in front of you and a little bit off to your sides, whereas Magdohr is already
His leader knows their team.
is going to be going back and forth between the sides and middle, and then I'm just sitting a little bit behind, and then I'll be able to see just about everything except what's directly in front of me at the front of the pack.
Then I guess at that point I would just be staring straight forward without blinking, like I'm not, like no one would be able to see it. But like I got dried eye, I'm staring forward. You can see the white around my pupils, just like bloodshot eyes staring straight forward. Like
Your
if
eyes have been
anybody were to
open
go in
so
front of
long
me-
you actually missed the dragon that lands in front of you.
Roll for initiative.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought he
Sorry.
was getting the monster manual out.
No, everyone decided. Oh, I have access to a D&D Beyond where somebody bought the ultimate package, so all my stuff's digital.
So cool. Look at me.
Yeah, no, I'm so cool.
Glenn's so
No, but-
hot.
Great. Yeah, I am warm. I've got some
I'm
lights
gonna
on
say,
me.
I meant
Shadow.
physically. I'm not attracted to you, loser.
All right, so
Senpai.
you make way. Not too long. It takes them about a half hour to kind of get everything lined up, and you've got your positioning ready, and you make way out of the town, headed east. Now, this road is a relatively new road. You know that normally, whenever you do escort missions to towns, it's north and south. Luskan is the closest town to the north, and Luskan. Relations between Luskan and Neverwinter are still kind of tenuous because within the last 20 or 30 years, there was a decent little bit of war that happened between the two towns. So not a lot of trade goes on between the two, but traders, merchants will still meet on the road to do business because they're not politicians. They just need to make money. But most of your missions are to the south, headed towards Waterdeep and some of those Baldur's Gate, some of those other larger cities along the coast. And
I
then,
recognize those games.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 2 is coming out soon. But so most of your missions most of your escort missions don't head to the east because this road is not very well traveled, but it is the quickest way to the location where this shipment is going, which is called Long Saddle. It's in the northern part of the Desserin Valley, which is just this large hilly area to the east, about 2 or 3 days march. And that's part of the reason why it's simpler to get to Long Saddle that way. It's 2 or 3 days, and it's, not necessarily safe or well traveled, but it's 2 or 3 days compared to like 15 to 20 days on a safe road. So, it's the equivalent of going through the Panama Canal or going around South America, So it's easier, it's cheaper, and that's part of what you can tell is that these merchants are trying to make this path safer, and so part of that is getting rid of the people that are making it unsafe. So as you kind of make your way through, what I'm going to have you do is kind of roll for encounters, because like I said, it's going to take about 2 or 3 days. And in the morning and the evening, since I know your passive perceptions are 11 to 14, I know exactly what you will or will not see, depending on what you may
11?
encounter.
Let's be real here. I'm like painfully oblivious.
What's 11, 12, and 14, right?
13 and 14.
Because you have 11, 13, and 14. So all in that realm. If it's in that realm or below, I will let somebody know that they see something. If it's above that, nobody sees anything. But now what I do is I have you roll a d20 each morning and evening of day of travel, and that tells me whether or not something happens. This is a random encounter thing, so this may or may not be a part of what you are seeking out as far as what's going after these caravans. But we'll see. So go ahead, anybody can roll a d20 and just tell me the number that's rolling the die. No modifiers.
I haven't rolled yet, so I'd like to.
Yeah,
let's do
actually
it.
suggest that it'd be a good idea to have Nick roll. Sorry, Brandon.
That's all right.
You rolled a...
I rolled a 19.
19. Awesome. Yeah, so as you're traveling, so I know your passive perceptions.
Bandit
Great.
Captain.
You see that as you're traveling along, the horses start to get a little bit nervous. They start kind of like whinnying a little more. Something is making them uncomfortable, and all of you, being all three of you, those who are on lookout, because the guys on the carts are just trying to keep their horses kind of like calm. You see on the edges of the forest, kind of creeping on the road, as you've now finally at about midday, you make your way into the Neverwinter Wood, and you can see several wolves kind of creeping up on the side, attempting to probably ambush and attack the horses.
So let's say I might have missed this. Let's say the path for the most part is straight with a little bit of curves. Let's say it's just like
it's a little windy. Yeah, it's a little windy. Yeah.
Are they gathering on the left or the right side, or like are they trying to like follow?
Both sides. It looks like you can see 5 or 6 wolves.
On the left or right of like the path?
Both
sides. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because I'm at the back, where do I see them roughly?
3 on each side, all around the center 2. The center 2. Looks like they've waited for the first few to pass by, and they're probably going to pounce on either the third or the fourth wagon. The horse.
Do you think I would have seen this or no?
Yeah, all 3 of you can see it.
Wow, they are not trying to be stealthy.
Well, they are. They just did not succeed very well.
Ah, cool. I'm gonna say one of them just like steps in the twig, and the other one comes in with like a top hat and king singing 1930s
It's more that you
tunes.
have that you're up higher, and you have done this enough that you have the experience to know where to look when you see or hear sounds. And so the high positioning and your previous experience gives you the ability to do that.
I would probably look at Vol and like kind of like point at me like, eh?
All right, action time. I give the signal to the caravan to stop, to the whole procession.
Okay. Everybody pauses with paying attention to yours. And the wolves kind of like stop, obviously recognizing that something is wrong, but not intelligent enough to understand what's changed.
I look at the people in the camera in front of me, and okay, so is it okay
I thought
here?
you said the camera.
I look right in the camera. I'm like, well, here we go, folks. No, I look at the people in the camera in front of me.
Like, that battle went horribly.
I would imagine, if you'll allow this, that I set up a few simple commands beforehand, or like, not words of action, that's the wrong thing, but directives with the people in the caravan, what to do. So one of them would be, because I've given the stop, and I've said what I've said to the people in the caravan in front of me, that a couple of people have come out to take charge of our horses, and then they've kind of like, just to make sure that they don't...
You know that these wolves are within seconds of attacking, so your action plan has to be not minutes long.
Oh, no, not minutes long.
They've
just come to like grab our horses, so like one from each, kind of to make sure they don't run away. And then I tell Rodger to join Magdohr, and I take one side, and they take the other side.
Around, like, kind of, keeping yourself between the wagons and the wolves on either side. Great.
Okay.
All right, so as you hand off your horses, and you all 3 kind of step into this action plan that you've set up, you're experienced with this sort of thing, and so you set yourself up just kind of understanding that these aren't crazy intelligent creatures. They're not going to throw stones or shoot arrows at you. They're just going to come out of the woods eventually. Let's see something.
May I prepare something?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I can tell you what happens, and it's gonna ruin your preparation. So
absolutely, I do nothing.
Great. So we'll say you prepare, get
You
ready
ruined
for
it. I
whatever you're gonna
them.
Well, you can't see them well enough to attack now that you're off the horses.
I'm just kidding. I was gonna do something that involves minor illusion, but
okay. Well, what happened is that as you guys hopped off the horses and you hear now that they're no longer. What happened is, like, as I said, you saw them kind of like notice that something was wrong, and apparently the pack leader called it off. You hear them skitter off into the woods. Whatever you did, moving around, stopping, kind of facing off, standing your ground, scared them off, and they decided for their own betterment that it was not wise to attack you. So everybody gets 100 XP.
Nice.
Sorry, everybody gets 50 XP. We'll just give you 50 because there was no actual combat, so I don't want to give you full XP.
I cast fireball at it.
You can't see him anymore.
Can I just my character?
I attack Magdohr.
What'd you say, Magdohr?
I was gonna say, Magdohr kind of takes a step or two in the forest. Yeah, you better run off, you fucking mangy butts.
Yeah, they absolutely are gone. They're gone. Whoever this wolf, the pack leader was actually probably pretty wise because they weren't gonna be able to beat them. You guys know that. So, but now you don't have to worry about the horses getting injured, and you can continue forward. The only way, I'll let you know, the only way I was going to have them get spooked was if I rolled a 1 on a d20, and I absolutely did. So, you got free XP.
Yeah, where do we put it?
So given now that they've all scampered away, I give the signal to continue, but we'll all continue, the 3 of us will continue on foot for the next, like, 30 minutes to an hour. And we'll just continue, like, cautiously. And then after that, we all get back into our normal positions and on our horses. At least that's the plan.
Great.
Yeah.
I love it. That's the plan. You do it. You guys are a well-oiled machine. And you make your way into the afternoon. You take a little mid-afternoon break to kind of get some food, get the horses to give them a little bit of a break, and then head off for the second half of the first day. I need somebody else to roll a d20 to find out if something happened.
Do you want
Brandon?
to? All right. I rolled a 4.
Great. Yeah, goes off without a hitch. You make your way into the evening and make camp in a. They traditionally, these guys are going to try and find kind of like an area off the woods or off the road close by where they can circle the wagons and create a protective barrier for the horses and themselves, because these woods are, known to be kind of dangerous. And now I'm gonna roll to see if something happens in the evening. Do you guys want to do a watch schedule or anything like that?
I think so, because the dwarf has dark vision, so I make him take like the later watch, and then I'll probably either me or Rodger will rest up first.
I also have dark vision up to 120 feet. No, sorry, that was when I was rolling for a different type of sorcerer. I don't believe I have dark vision at all, so I'm as blind as a bat.
Yeah, so I'll probably take the first shift regardless.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So go ahead, and because this is an active thing, it's not just you riding along, la 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 la, and not rolling perceptions every 10 seconds or whatever. I would love for you to roll a perception check for your watch.
All of us?
As it happens, so whoever's first, go ahead and roll their perception check. If you have disadvantage, or if you don't have dark vision, you'll have disadvantage on your perception check.
I think you're first.
Who's
Nick.
first?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, so go. And you
Nick,
have or don't
Who
have
hurt
dark
you?
vision?
Come on.
it doesn't matter.
I rolled a 14.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, you keep your eyes open and you see some eyes that you think might be some sort of painted, some sort of dog or something, but it's not a wolf. Once it gets into total view and not just, shiny eyes in the dark, you do see that it's like just a couple coyotes. You see some other rabbits, some birds calling. One of the calling cards of a larger predator being in an area is that the animals in the area will quiet, and you don't ever get that. But you also don't hear any sort of suspicious movement or anything like that. Who is on next watch?
I guess technically it would probably be me if we're going to go in order of rolling. Also, I probably would want the dwarf who can see in the deepest darkness of the night. Like, it's still nighttime for me, but I feel like there's going to be a minute normal thing of light or something. I don't know. Let's find out. I see not a whole lot. I rolled a 5.
A 5? Yeah.
Total.
Well, I mean, you keep your eyes open and definitely do your best job of patrolling the area.
I stare
and
at a tree.
unblinkingly, and no dark vision, correct?
No dark vision whatsoever.
No dark vision. You do your best. You keep a torch on hand, you know, and so you can see out that 30 feet of bright light and then 30 feet of dim light. So you don't, like, he doesn't need a torch. You do. But you don't see anything odd. You hear a few sounds, but they all seem to be natural animals that move around at night. Nothing that's trying to be aggressive or hunt you, nor is it bandits trying to ambush you. And for the last watch, Magdohr.
It's quite late for me. I rolled an 8.
You have
Great,
advantage. Yeah. No. Wait, you said we rolled with disadvantage. Oh, I would roll
Disadvantage if you don't have that. Yeah.
Okay, well.
Because you have disadvantage on perception checks in dim or dark light if you don't have dark.
I should have used inspiration, then it would have canceled out, and I still would have gotten a 5. Anyways.
Ironically enough, though, dark vision still has disadvantage in darkness of her perception checks. It's just that they can see in dim light as if it were bright. But in darkness, they see as if it's dim light, and in dim light, you still have disadvantage on perception checks.
Well, I mean, I didn't even have dark vision, so I was just
Oh, no,
joking.
yeah, you're fine. I'm just saying if a person with dark vision makes a perception check in complete darkness, they'll do it with disadvantage. A person without dark vision won't even be able to make the check. They can't see at all. So, anyway,
Cool.
Yeah, you get through the night, and you wake up in the morning, and nothing has gone wrong. The horses are all accounted for. Everybody's safe. And you pack up and make way for your second day of travel. And the caravan leader says that he believes that you should be able to make your way to Long Saddle by the end of the day if you continue the pace you're at.
As we get ready to leave in the morning, I look visibly disgruntled because I wasn't able to pop the bra. And so I had to sleep in human form all night. And I just look like a little more tousled than I tried to keep my composure. And just unusually quiet in my saddle, I guess, at the start of the morning, which I'm sure Vol would appreciate.
Are you pouting? Is that what it is?
I mean, even if I was pouting, since I'm at the front, no one can see, so I don't even bother.
Because it would only be to make other people see how frustrated you are.
Well, by looking at forward and being at the front, no one could see it, so it's a waste of effort on my part. So I just kind of do the 1,000-yard stare, thinking about my career choice and how I wanted to be an actor.
Welcome to my life. So as you continue forward, yes. You eventually get to you're following out, and you know that probably by like late morning, probably 10 or equivalent of about 10 a.m. you're going to exit Neverwinter Wood, but you still have 5 or 6 hours of travel within the context of being in the forest. And what's your passive perception again?
Who?
Just you in the front.
20 minus 9.
I feel like that's a deception check you failed there, my friend. What is it truly?
I said a 20 minus 9. It's an 11.
Oh, minus 9. Oh, 11. Okay. I thought you just said 20 and then let it go.
It's actually minus 8. I deceive with the deceive.
Deceive. But it's an 11. Great. So as you're traveling, I need you to pull up the statistics of a horse.
You want me?
It'll be a riding horse. So just type in like riding force 5e.
There goes my horse.
And
my horse
what's going to happen is as you're
Yep.
traveling, because this road is not superbly like well maintained, there's like leaves and branches across parts of it. Sometimes you have to kind of go across an area that has more grass than others. And since it's kind of later in the year, it's not quite winter, but the leaves are beginning to fall. There's leaves over portions of the road. And you, without amazing perception, don't notice the large pit trap that your horse is walking over. So I need you to go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw with your horse's statistics.
With my horse. Well, that's unfortunate. The horse
Now
says
you're adding proficiency to it because I'm assuming you guys know how to ride horses, so I'm allowing you to add your proficiency bonus, which is +2, to that roll, as well as the dexterity of the horse.
which is 0. So I got.
Okay.
Holy shit!
Oh damn!
I rolled another nat 20. With
So you got a 22.
With these people as my witness.
Yeah.
I thought that horse was donezo. I mean, it might still
Definitely.
be. As long as it falls off,
Amazing.
but it does a backflip and knocks me into the ground as it falls into like 1,000 pits, then, you know.
Awesome. So yeah, so you like pull back the reins as soon as you see, like, you can feel as you're riding the kind of the horse's kind of like body become kind of off kilter as it begins to put that first hoof into what is now, a pit trap covered with leaves and sticks. And as
then
you pull
the
back, the
caravan
horse
pushes
pops
me
away.
in.
No. You're a little bit ahead. You're not a rookie. But what you do notice now, nobody has a hard time hearing and or seeing this, as you hear arrows whiz into the group as several of the people riding on the carts are shot by arrows. And you see people swinging in out of the trees as you're attacked by bandits, and that's what we're going to call it until next week.
Wait, we're being attacked by Tarzan bandits that
Hell yeah,
Because they
rocket
swing
hole?
on ropes.
Fuck
They're
yeah.
swinging on ropes, not vines.
God, I had to clear my throat for so long.
We are the George of the Jungle Clan. Beware.
But yeah, next time we'll pick it up with you guys taking on the bandits who have been raiding these parties.
I am going to fight the one that dug the team rocket hole. This is ridiculous.
Gonna try to take the first one out, if they get you stuck in a pit, that's one less combatant, at least for a few rounds.
I
I think
absolutely
they'd
agree.
be intimidated once they saw him fucking immediately detect the pit. Maybe
Nah.
we shouldn't fuck with these guys.
They're bandits. They're bandits. They just want to make money.
Right?
It's like much like me with Pike and League of Legends. Even if I screw up my first CC, I'm still going all in. Okay, anyways, bad League of Legends joke. Glenn, lead us out, baby. Where can we find you?
Oh yeah, my name is I'm at Twitch at Razeth, Razeth37. Razeth. Raezeth. I'm having a weird day. On Twitter at Glenn Houston, 2 N's, Huston, and also, with you guys at Casual Master Quest.
You're let's say you're still the host. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so go ahead. Nick, where can we find you, buddy?
Okay. You can
the
find
socials.
me on Twitch and Instagram at LR11. You can find me on Twitter at LRD11th. Yeah, and then Casual Master Quest. We're all probably gonna plug that, but that's a given.
Yeah. All right, Brandon. What about you, my dwarven friend?
I'm not really anywhere. I might start streaming again. We'll see next episode.
But we can find you here at very
Yeah,
least.
you can find me here, and every once in a while I'll join as guest for Casual Master Quest.
Yep. And you can find our Twitter at let's see, was it Casual Questmasters Pod? We don't have one.
We don't have one for this one specifically, but they're all in that family, that umbrella of Casual Master Quest.
We'll see what we can do. You can find me on Twitter at 2xTyler, all letters, one word. You can find the podcast, this network that the podcast is under at Master Quest Pod, where you can check out more of our good stuff over at Casual Master Quest, our video game podcast that we do. And I think that's gonna be it. For now.
Just don't forget to never stop questing from all of us here. Woohoo!
Ooh, that was a tagline. All right, cool. Yeah, that was
Never stop questing, right?
I'll accept it.
Okay, yes. Never stop questing.
It's gotta vary between the podcast. It can, just be a little taggy different based on what we're
Never
doing.
stop the quest.
Never stop the quest.
Never stop the
Casually.
quest. We'll see you next week where we get to fight the Wu Tarzan clan, and we'll see what's going on next. But until then, take care, guys.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode of Casual Quest Masters. Thank you so much to you, our listeners, for being here, and to Sirenscape for allowing us to utilize their amazing programs for sounds and music. Check them out at sirenscape.com. We hope to see you here next time for the next episode of Casual Quest Masters.